My beloved child, listen carefully, because tonight is not an ordinary night. Something has shifted in the unseen realm, and if you found this message now, it is not by accident. This is a divine interruption. A once-in-a-lifetime moment is opening, and heaven is leaning close to hear your response. You have been praying, sometimes with words, sometimes only with tears. There were nights when you whispered, "God, do you even see me?" And days when you smiled on the outside while your heart felt tired on the inside. But hear this clearly, not one of those prayers fell to the ground. Not one tear was wasted. Tonight, the miracle you prayed for is being released. His blessing was not rushed. It was not randomly chosen. God says this blessing was prepared specifically for you. Before you ever asked, before you even understood what you needed, heaven was already arranging details, aligning people, moving timelines, and closing doors that would have harmed you later. What felt like delay was actually protection. What felt like silence was divine planning. Right now, Archangel Michael is crying out in the spirit realm. Not in sorrow, but in urgency. He is sounding an alarm so you do not miss this moment. There is a narrow window opening, and it carries your name on it. This is why you felt restless today. This is why your spirit felt stirred without knowing why. This is why something inside you said, "Pay attention." Let me tell you something shocking. The breakthrough you've been asking for did not start today. It started the moment you refused to give up. When you chose faith on the days it made no sense, something was activated. God saw your endurance. Heaven recorded your obedience. And now, what was held back for the right time is being released tonight. You may think, "But I'm not ready." God says you are more ready than you realize. The preparation happened in the hidden seasons, when nobody applauded you, when nobody noticed your sacrifice, when you kept going with a tired heart. Those moments shape you. They qualified you. They positioned you. There is a reason this message is urgent. There is a reason Archangel Michael is crying out. The enemy knows what God is about to do and has tried distraction, doubt, and discouragement to pull your focus away. That heaviness you felt recently, that sudden wave of overthinking, it was resistance, not failure. Resistance shows up right before release. Hear this clearly. Tonight, God is restoring what you thought was lost forever. Some of you lost time. Some lost trust. Some lost confidence. Some lost opportunities you believed would never return. God says, "Watch me redeem it in a way only I can." What is coming will not just fix the problem. It will leave you in awe. His miracle is personal. It is tailored to your story. It answers prayers you prayed years ago and questions you were afraid to ask out loud. God knows exactly where it hurts. He knows exactly what you need. And He knows exactly when to release it so that it will not destroy you, but elevate you. Do not dismiss small signs tonight. A message, a phone call, a sudden idea, an unexpected peace. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. When God moves, He often starts quietly. Then suddenly everything changes. One moment you are waiting, the next moment you are thanking Him. Archangel Michael is standing as a defender in this hour. What tried to block your blessing is being pushed back. What tried to delay your destiny is losing its grip. You are not fighting this battle alone. Heaven is backing you. God is going before you. And the path that looked closed is beginning to open. Stay alert. Stay receptive. Stay humble. This is not the night to doubt or overanalyze. This is the night to believe again, even if belief feels fragile. God is not asking for perfect faith. He is asking for willingness. Even remind yourself right now, I am ready to receive. Something is about to happen that will make you say, now I understand why it took so long. The timing will make sense. The pain will have a purpose, and your testimony will strengthen others who are still waiting. Take a deep breath. You are closer than you think. Heaven has already moved. The release has already begun. And this is only the beginning of what God is about to reveal. My precious one, as this message continues to unfold, understand this truth. Heaven does not announce movement unless something real is happening. God is not teasing your heart. He is preparing your spirit. What is being released tonight carries weight, and that is why your soul feels this unusual pull to stay connected. Something within you recognizes this moment. There are seasons when God works quietly, and there are moments when He sends confirmation after confirmation so you do not miss what He is doing. This is one of those moments. The stirring you feel right now is alignment. Your spirit is coming into agreement with what heaven has already decided. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are right on time. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian in times of transition. When a blessing is about to shift your direction, he is sent to strengthen your resolve and protect your focus. That inner battle you've been feeling lately was not weakness. It was the pressure of elevation. Every step upward requires resistance to fall away. And tonight, that resistance is breaking. God says there were doors you tried to force open before, and they would have crushed you. You didn't know it then, but mercy was closing them. Now, the door opening in front of you is different. It opens with peace, not anxiety. It opens with clarity, not confusion. It opens with confirmation, not chaos. This is how you know it is from God. Some of you are waiting for a sign so big that it shakes the ground. But God often speaks in a way that steadies the heart first. That calm you're beginning to feel, even before the miracle fully manifests, is a sign that heaven is involved. God does not release blessings that leave you restless. What He gives brings assurance. Tonight is also about obedience. Not dramatic obedience. Quiet obedience. The kind that says, I trust you even before I see everything. This is where miracles accelerate. When you choose faith without having all the answers, heaven responds swiftly. The miracle responds to alignment, not desperation. You didn't come this far to stop now. You didn't endure all those lonely seasons just to settle for almost. God says the finish line is closer than you think, and the reason you've been feeling a push to engage more, to listen deeper, to lean in right now, is because this is a turning point. Moments like these pass quickly for those who are distracted, but they transform the lives of those who stay attentive. If this message is resonating with your spirit, take a moment to acknowledge it. Engage with it. When you like this message, when you share it, when you leave a comment, you are not just supporting a channel, you are declaring agreement. You are saying, I receive what God is releasing. A simple act becomes a point of connection, a faith response in motion. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe and become part of this growing family, because what God is unfolding here is not a one-time word. It is a journey of alignment, protection, and purpose. There is also a deeper level of connection available through membership for those who feel led to walk even closer in this season. Archangel Michael is not calling out because of fear, he is calling out because of timing. Heaven respects free will. Blessings can be delayed if they are ignored. That is why this moment matters. God will not force your hands open, but He will place the gift right in front of you and ask if you are willing to receive it. There is a reason this message reached you before the night is over. Something is being settled while you rest. God works in the stillness because that is when your defenses are down and your spirit can receive without interference. Expect clarity when you wake. Expect insight. Expect movement where there was stagnation. Some of you will receive good news soon. Others will receive direction. Others will receive peace that finally quiets the storm in your thoughts. Do not compare your miracle to anyone else's. Comparison blinds gratitude, and gratitude accelerates favor. What God is doing for you fits your calling, not theirs. Stay with this message. There is more unfolding that connects the unseen dots of your life in a way that will make sense to you on a soul level. Hold on, because what comes next will reveal why Archangel Michael cried out so urgently for your attention tonight. My dear one, something sacred is happening beneath the surface right now, and your spirit can feel it even if your mind cannot fully explain it yet. This is the moment where heaven moves from preparation into manifestation. The atmosphere around you is shifting, not loudly, but decisively. God is not experimenting with your life. He is executing a plan that was written long before this season ever began. There are answers you have been waiting for that could not come until your heart was strong enough to carry them. God says you are there now. The stretching you endure was not meant to break you. It was meant to expand your capacity. What is coming requires maturity, discernment, and trust. That is why this miracle waited. Not because God was slow, but because he was precise. Archangel Michael is still crying out, not because the blessing is fragile, but because the moment is sacred. When heaven releases something holy, it demands reverence. Distractions dull sensitivity, and God is sharpening your awareness right now. That sudden clarity you felt earlier was not random. It was alignment. You are seeing clearly because the fog is lifting. Some of you have been revisiting old memories recently, moments you thought you were over. God allowed that for a reason. He was showing you how far you've come. What once wounded you no longer controls you. It is proof that healing has already begun, and healing always comes before harvest. God never pours new wine into a broken vessel. He restores first. Hear this closely. What is being released tonight is not just a miracle you prayed for, but a confirmation of who you are becoming. This blessing carries identity. It will silence doubts you've carried quietly. It will answer accusations spoken against you in the unseen. And it will validate the choices you made when no one else understood your obedience. There is also restoration coming into your confidence. God says you stopped trusting yourself after a disappointment that wasn't your fault. You blamed yourself for something that required growth, not guilt. Tonight, that weight is lifting. You are being trusted again. By God, by heaven, and soon, by yourself. This is why Archangel Michael is standing guard. When identity is restored, opposition tries to interfere. But protection has already been assigned. What God is giving you will not be stolen, delayed, or corrupted. It is sealed. You may notice your discernment sharpening, your intuition strengthening, your peace deepening. These are signs that the blessing is already integrating into your life. Do not rush this moment. Let it settle into your spirit. Miracles do not always arrive with noise. Sometimes they arrive with knowing. You just know something has changed, even before the evidence appears. That knowing is faith maturing into certainty. God is also healing how you see time. You thought you lost years, but God says nothing was wasted. He is a redeemer of time. He knows how to compress seasons and accelerate outcomes. What feels late will suddenly feel perfectly timed. You will look back and realize this delay saved you from a smaller life. There is gratitude rising in you right now. and that gratitude is powerful. It signals readiness. Heaven responds quickly to thankful hearts because gratitude recognizes God as the source. Say in that posture, speak thanks even before you see everything unfold. That is how you stay aligned with what is coming. Before this message closes, receive this activation with intention. Type "I receive the promise" in the comments if this is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 864 has just been released over your life. And listen carefully, because this moment also carries a sacred invitation. As this word flows into you, it is also meant to flow through you. God is saying that when you sow into this mission, you are not funding a platform. You are releasing light into places still wrapped in darkness. Every seed given becomes a voice reaching a soul that needs hope right now. I hear the Spirit saying, "This is my invitation to you." As you give, you step into the rhythm of heaven, where sowing unlocks harvest and obedience opens the heavens. Just as this blessing was prepared specifically for you, your act of support becomes a prophetic response, a holy yes that accelerates impact. Your support is like oil poured on a burning flame, causing God's word to travel farther, faster, and deeper. And I speak this over you now. As you give, rivers will open in your own life. Doors will respond. Provision will recognize you. Do not hesitate. Obey the nudge. Release your super thanks. Step into membership, or give through PayPal using the link in the description, and watch how heaven responds. What you release now will return multiplied, pressed down, and overflowing. This is not a suggestion. This is a divine moment. Act on it. My beloved one, now that the seed has been acknowledged and the atmosphere has shifted, God is drawing your attention to something deeper. This is the phase where understanding begins to settle into your spirit. What heaven released did not come alone. It came carrying wisdom, direction, and a new way of seeing yourself and your future. This is where many people rush ahead, but you are being invited to slow down just enough to discern what God is truly doing. You are entering a season where clarity replaces confusion. The fog that once clouded your decisions is thinning, and your inner hearing is becoming sharper. God says you are no longer operating on survival instincts. You are stepping into spiritual awareness. That is why certain people, habits, and environments suddenly feel uncomfortable. It is not rejection, it is elevation. You are outgrowing what once felt familiar. There is also a gentle but firm correction happening in how you interpret delays. You used to see them as punishment or proof of failure. God is rewriting that narrative. He says those pauses were classrooms, not prisons. You learned discernment there. You learned patience there. You learned how to lean on Him instead of rushing ahead in your own strength. Those lessons are now becoming assets. Pay attention to the subtle shifts in your desires. Some things you once wanted no longer excite you, and that is intentional. God is refining your appetite so you do not settle for substitutes. When the real thing arrives, you will recognize it instantly because your spirit has been trained to wait for substance, not noise. This discernment is a gift, and it will protect what is coming next. You may notice that your prayers are changing. They are becoming less frantic and more focused, less about escaping discomfort and more about alignment. That is maturity. God delights in this evolution because it shows trust. You are no longer begging heaven to notice you. You are walking with the confidence that you are already seen. There is also healing taking place in how you relate to authority and leadership. Past disappointments caused you to guard your heart too tightly, but God is restoring healthy trust. Not blind trust, but discerning trust. This will be important because new partnerships and assignments are approaching, and they require openness without naivety. God is equipping you to stand strong without closing yourself off. This season will also require courage. Not loud courage, but steady courage. The kind that chooses integrity when shortcuts are available. The kind that speaks truth calmly instead of reacting emotionally. God says this courage will distinguish you. People will sense something different about you, even if they cannot name it. That difference is His presence resting on your obedience. There may be moments when the old fear tries to resurface, whispering that this progress will not last. When that happens, anchor yourself in what God has already done. Fear loses its power when confronted with evidence of faithfulness. You are not starting from zero. You are building on a foundation that has already been tested. Rest is also part of this process. God is teaching you that rest is not laziness. It is trust. You do not need to exhaust yourself to prove your worth. What is meant for you will not require burnout to obtain. When you move in rhythm with God, effort and grace work together, and peace becomes your companion instead of stress. Expect your inner world to become quieter, even as your outer world begins to shift. That quiet is not emptiness. It is stability. God is anchoring you so that when visible blessings increase, your soul remains grounded. Many people lose their balance when prayers are answered, but you are being trained to remain centered. As this settles in, remember that growth often feels unfamiliar before it feels comfortable. Do not retreat simply because things feel new. New does not mean wrong. New often means God is expanding your territory. Trust the process. Trust the pace. Trust the one guiding you. What is unfolding now is preparing you for responsibility, not just reward. God is shaping you into someone who can steward what He gives with wisdom and humility. This is not just about receiving a miracle. It is about becoming the person who can carry it well. Stay present. Stay teachable. Stay connected. The path ahead is becoming clearer, and each step you take in faith strengthens the next. Heaven is still moving, and so are you. My precious child, now comes a deeper unveiling, one that speaks not just to what God is giving you, but to how He is repositioning you for what comes after the miracle. Many people think the miracle is the destination, but God says it is the doorway. What He is releasing tonight is opening you into a new realm of responsibility, influence, and spiritual authority. This is why He has been so intentional with your preparation. You are stepping into a season where your choices carry more weight. Not pressure, but impact. The way you speak, the way you respond, the way you move through challenges will now affect more than just you. God is entrusting you with influence, even if it begins quietly. Influence does not always look like a platform. Sometimes it looks like being the calm voice in chaos, the wise presence in confusion, the steady light in uncertain spaces. There is a refinement happening in your speech. You may notice you no longer feel the need to explain yourself to everyone. The urge to defend, to prove, to justify is fading. This is not because you have given up, but because God is teaching you that clarity does not require noise. When He establishes you, explanations become unnecessary. Those who are meant to understand will understand. God is also healing how you respond to opposition. Before, criticism cut deep because it touched old wounds. Now those wounds are closing. You are learning discernment, what to receive and what to release. Not every opinion deserves space in your spirit. This maturity is protection. It allows you to stay focused without becoming hardened. You are also being invited into a new level of obedience. Not obedience driven by fear of punishment, but obedience rooted in relationship. You are beginning to recognize God's voice more clearly, and with that clarity comes responsibility. When He nudges you to pause, to speak, to move, or to wait, those promptings matter. They are part of a larger orchestration you cannot yet fully see. There may be moments when this season feels lonely, even though you are not alone. Growth often creates distance from familiar patterns and people. This does not mean you are losing connection. It means you are transitioning. God sometimes separates before He multiplies. He quiets the noise so you can hear Him clearly before expanding your reach. Pay attention to what brings you peace now. Your spirit is gravitating toward what is aligned and recoiling from what is not. This sensitivity is a gift. Do not override it out of obligation or guilt. God is teaching you to honor the signals He placed within you. Peace is not a luxury. It is a compass. There is also restoration happening in your joy. Not surface happiness, but deep, steady joy that does not depend on circumstances. You may catch yourself smiling without a clear reason, or feeling hopeful even before tangible change appears. That joy is evidence that something has already shifted internally. Internal shifts always precede external breakthroughs. God wants you to understand that this season is not about striving. You do not need to chase what is meant for you. Alignment attracts provision. When you walk in step with God, what you need recognizes you. Doors open without force. Opportunities find you. Favor flows naturally. You may soon be faced with decisions that test your growth. Old patterns may try to resurface, offering familiar comfort. Pause in those moments. Ask yourself not what feels easiest, but what aligns with who you are becoming. Growth often requires choosing what is right over what is familiar. This is also a season of stewardship. God is watching how you handle small increases. More peace, more clarity, more confidence. These are training grounds for greater trust. Faithfulness in subtle blessings prepares you for visible ones. Do not overlook what God is already doing simply because it does not yet look dramatic. Rest assured, you are not behind. You are not catching up. You are exactly where you need to be. God is not comparing your journey to anyone else's. He is focused on shaping you uniquely, intentionally, lovingly. Your pace is purposeful. As you continue forward, remain grounded in gratitude. Gratitude keeps your heart soft and your vision clear. It reminds you that everything you have is a gift, and everything coming is guided by love. What is unfolding now is building a foundation that will support not just one answered prayer, but many to come. You are being prepared for sustainability, not just success. Stay steady. Stay open. Stay faithful. Heaven is still at work, and the path ahead is becoming more defined with each step you take. My beloved child, this is the stretch where many people misunderstand what God is doing, but you are being given discernment to see it clearly. After preparation and repositioning comes reinforcement. God is strengthening what He has already placed inside you so that when movement accelerates, you do not crumble under the weight of answered prayers. This is not a quiet season by accident. It is intentional stabilization. You may feel as though things are steady, but not yet explosive, calm, but not yet celebratory. That does not mean nothing is happening. It means God is locking things into place. Foundations are being secured. Loose ends are being tied. Weak points are being reinforced. This is what prevents collapse later. God is far more concerned with longevity than speed. There is a new level of emotional maturity forming within you. Situations that once triggered anxiety no longer have the same grip. You are learning to respond instead of react. That is not numbness. That is authority. When emotions no longer control your decisions, clarity takes the lead. God trusts people who can remain steady under pressure. and that trust is increasing over your life. You are also being trained to hear God above noise. Distractions have tried to pull you in different directions recently, but you notice them more quickly than before. That awareness is growth. The enemy loses power when he can no longer operate unnoticed. God is sharpening your focus so that what matters receives your energy, and what does not fades without struggle. This season may feel less dramatic than the anticipation you carried earlier, but do not mistake calm for stagnation. Rivers often run deepest where the surface is still. God is doing work that does not require an audience. When He finishes, the results will speak louder than announcements ever could. There is also a strengthening of boundaries happening. You are learning when to say yes and when to say no without guilt. This is not selfishness. It is stewardship. Your time, energy, and peace are resources entrusted to you. God is teaching you to protect them wisely so they can be invested where they bear fruit. You may notice fewer explanations coming out of your mouth and more confidence resting in your presence. This is because identity is settling. When you know who you are, you do not need constant validation. God is anchoring your worth in truth rather than outcomes. That anchor will keep you steady as blessings increase. This is also a moment to stay connected and engaged. When you like this message, when you share it with someone who needs encouragement, when you leave a comment declaring agreement, you are participating in what God is doing here. It is not just interaction, it is alignment. And if this space hath been feeding your spirit, make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss what heaven continues to release through this channel. There is also a deeper layer of connection available through membership for those who feel called to walk closely in this journey and help carry the vision forward. God is reminding you that consistency matters more than intensity. You do not need to push harder. You need to remain faithful. Small, steady steps taken with God will carry you farther than emotional bursts followed by burnout. This is the wisdom you are learning now. There may be moments when impatience tries to creep in, whispering that you should be further along by now. Silence that voice with truth. You are exactly where alignment meets readiness. God has not delayed you. He has positioned you. What is ahead requires the steadiness you are developing right now. You are also becoming more selective about whose voices you allow to influence you. Not everyone who speaks loudly speaks wisely. God is teaching you to recognize fruit, not volume. This discernment will save you from detours and unnecessary battles. Pay attention to the subtle confirmations around you. Repeated words, familiar scriptures, consistent nudges. God speaks through patterns when He is affirming direction. You are not imagining this. Heaven is reinforcing what has already been spoken. Hold on, because what is about to unfold next connects everything you have experienced so far in a way that will suddenly make sense. Stay present with this moment, because the clarity coming will answer questions you did not even know how to ask yet. My precious one, now you are entering a phase where understanding turns into embodiment. This is where the truths you have heard no longer sit only in your mind, but begin to shape how you move, choose, and respond. God is not just speaking to you. He is forming you. The lessons of the previous season are becoming instinct, and that is how you know growth is real. You may notice that situations which once confused you now feel clearer. You are not scrambling for answers the way you used to. Instead, there is a quiet confidence rising, a sense of knowing when to act and when to remain still. This is not coincidence. God is sharpening your discernment so you can navigate what is coming without panic or hesitation. There is also a shift happening in how you view challenges. They no longer feel like threats to your progress, but invitations to apply what you have learned. Each challenge now asks a different question. Will you respond from fear or from faith? Will you default to old habits, or will you step forward as the person you are becoming? God trusts you with these moments because He knows you are ready. You are being trained to recognize divine timing. Not everything requires immediate action. Some things require patience, observation, and prayer. God is teaching you that waiting does not mean doing nothing. It means staying aligned. This awareness protects you from rushing ahead and missing what He is arranging behind the scenes. There is also healing happening in how you view yourself. Old labels are losing their power. Words spoken over you in seasons of misunderstanding are no longer defining you. God is rewriting your inner narrative, replacing self-doubt with truth. You are beginning to see yourself the way heaven sees you, and that changes everything. You may feel a stronger pull toward authenticity. Pretending, performing, or pleasing others feels exhausting now. This is intentional. God is drawing you into integrity, where who you are in private matches who you are in public. This alignment brings peace, and peace is a sign that you are walking in truth. Relationships may also be shifting. Some connections deepen, while others naturally fall away. This is not punishment. It is alignment. God removes what no longer fits so He can make room for what does. Trust Him in this process. He's not taking anything from you without a purpose. What remains will support where you are going. You are also learning to trust your spiritual senses. That inner check, that sense of hesitation or confirmation, is becoming clearer. God speaks in many ways, and you are becoming fluent in His language. This will be crucial as opportunities arise, because not every open door is meant to be entered. Discernment will guide you. There may be moments when you feel stretched between the old and the new. Part of you recognizes how far you have come, while another part is still adjusting to unfamiliar territory. This tension is normal. Transition always carries a moment of discomfort. Do not interpret it as failure. It is simply growth in motion. God wants you to know that your obedience has already changed outcomes you may never fully see. Some battles were avoided. Some losses were prevented. Some blessings were protected because you listened when it mattered. Your faithfulness has consequences far beyond what you can measure. As this season continues, you will find yourself less reactive and more responsive, less anxious and more anchored, less focused on proving and more focused on being. This is stability, and stability attracts trust. God entrusts more to those who can remain grounded. You are also learning that your value is not tied to constant productivity. There is sacredness in rest, reflection, and stillness. God speaks clearly when you allow space. Do not rush past these moments. They are not delays. They are divine pauses. The path ahead is becoming more defined, even if every detail is not yet visible. You do not need the full map when you trust the guide. Step by step, clarity will come. Each act of obedience will illuminate the next. Stay attentive. Stay grounded. Stay open. What God is preparing you for is unfolding closer than you realize, and the wisdom you are gaining now will be the key that unlocks it. My beloved child, this is the moment where heaven asks you to look back, not to relive the pain, but to recognize the pattern of grace that has carried you here. What once felt random now begins to make sense. God is allowing you to see the thread that has been woven through every season, every delay, every closed door, and every unexpected turn. Nothing was disconnected. Nothing was wasted. There were times you thought you were starting over, but God says you were actually starting deeper. Each restart carried more wisdom, more discernment, more humility than the last. That is why this season feels different. You are not repeating cycles anymore. You are completing them. What used to pull you backward no longer has the same authority over you. Archangel Michael's cry in this hour is not only about protection, but about confirmation. Heaven is testifying on your behalf. What God is doing in you is now becoming visible in the spirit realm, and visibility attracts response. This is why you may notice increased clarity, but also increased attention. When light intensifies, shadows react. Do not be alarmed. Protection has already been assigned. God is also restoring your spiritual confidence. Not arrogance, but assurance. The quiet knowing that you are walking in step with Him. This confidence will help you stand firm when opinions shift, when circumstances fluctuate, and when outcomes take time to fully manifest. You are learning to anchor your faith in God's character, not just His actions. This is also a season of integration. What you learned in isolation is now being integrated into daily life. Faith is becoming practical. Wisdom is becoming habitual. Prayer is becoming conversational rather than desperate. This is maturity, and heaven celebrates it. You may sense a deeper compassion growing within you. Pain you once resented is now becoming a source of empathy. God often transforms wounds into wells, places where others can draw strength. Do not despise what you have overcome. He has qualified you to carry comfort with authority. There is also an invitation here to release the final remnants of self-blame. Some things did not work out because they were never meant to. Some relationships ended because they could not travel with you into the next season. God says stop revisiting decisions that heaven has already redeemed. You are not who you were then. You see differently now. As this realization settles, peace deepens. Not the kind of peace that ignores reality, but the kind that stands steady within it. This peace is a sign that your spirit is aligned. When alignment is present, resistance loses power. Before moving further, seal this moment intentionally. Type "I walk in divine alignment" in the comments if this is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 1129 is now activated over your life. And now, hear this invitation clearly, because it flows directly from what God is doing in you. This word was not meant to stop with you. It is meant to move through you. When you choose to support this mission, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into souls who are standing where you once stood, searching for hope in the middle of uncertainty. I hear the Spirit saying, "This is my call to you in this hour." Just as God prepared a blessing specifically for you, He is using this platform to prepare light for others. Your support becomes seed, and that seed becomes harvest in places you may never see, but heaven records every act of obedience. When you release super thanks, when you step into membership, or when you give through PayPal using the link in the description, you are participating in something prophetic. This is not charity, this is alignment. This is you responding to heaven's movement with action. I speak this over you now. As you sow, God will establish you. As you give, God will guard what concerns you. As you support, heaven will support you in ways that surpass expectation. Do not hesitate. Do not delay. Obey the nudge. Release the seed. Walk forward in faith. What you do in response to this moment matters. Heaven is watching, and grace is flowing. My precious one, now the focus turns toward steadiness in motion. What God has begun to reveal is no longer just internal. It is preparing to express itself outwardly. This is the season where faith becomes visible through consistency. Not dramatic gestures, not sudden leaps, but quiet, faithful movement in the right direction. Heaven honors momentum that is rooted in obedience. You may notice that life feels fuller now. Not louder, but fuller. There is meaning in ordinary moments again. Conversations carry weight. Decisions feel intentional. Even routine tasks seem connected to something larger. This is because alignment brings purpose into the everyday. God is teaching you that destiny is not only found in major events, but in faithful daily steps. There is also a strengthening of patience taking place. You are learning that patience is not passive waiting, it is active trust. It is choosing to remain faithful without needing constant reassurance. This patience is protecting you from rushing into things prematurely. What is meant for you will not require panic to obtain. You may encounter moments where the old temptation to control outcomes resurfaces. When that happens, pause. Control often feels like security, but it drains peace. God is reminding you that surrender does not mean losing direction. It means trusting Him with timing. Timing is where miracles stay intact. Your spiritual sensitivity is also increasing. You are noticing subtle shifts in atmosphere, tone, and intention. This awareness is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to guide you. God is refining your ability to discern what deserves your attention and what does not. This discernment will save you energy and preserve your focus. There may be an urge to explain yourself less and observe more. This is wisdom growing. When God is establishing you, silence often speaks louder than defense. Not every misunderstanding requires correction. Some things resolve themselves when truth is allowed to stand on its own. God is also reminding you that not everyone will understand this version of you. Growth can be uncomfortable for those who only knew you in survival mode. Do not shrink to maintain familiarity. You are not abandoning anyone. You are honoring what God has done in you. Those meant to walk with you will adjust. There is also a deepening trust forming between you and God. You are no longer asking for signs at every step. You are learning to move with quiet confidence. This trust pleases heaven because it reflects relationship, not fear. God delights when His children walk with Him, not ahead of Him, not behind Him, but with Him. You may find yourself becoming more intentional about what you allow into your mind and heart. Entertainment, conversations, environments, these choices matter more now because you are carrying something precious. God is teaching you to guard what He has planted. Protection is part of stewardship. As momentum builds, resist the urge to measure progress by comparison. Someone else's pace is not your benchmark. God is not racing you against anyone. He is walking you into a future that fits your calling. Comparison distorts vision and steals gratitude. Stay focused on your lane. You are also learning to celebrate progress without needing perfection. Growth is happening even when flaws remain. God works with willing hearts, not flawless ones. Do not disqualify yourself because you are still learning. Learning is proof that God is still shaping you. There may be moments when you feel stretched between excitement and caution. Attention is healthy. It keeps you alert without making you anxious. God is teaching you balance, faith that expects good, and wisdom that moves thoughtfully. Rest continues to be important. Do not ignore the need for renewal. Strength is sustained through rhythm, not constant output. God restores you so that what flows through you remains pure. Burnout distorts discernment, but rest sharpens it. As you continue forward, trust that God is still ahead of you. He is arranging conversations, opportunities, and confirmations that will meet you at the right moment. You do not need to chase them. Alignment draws them in naturally. What is unfolding now is preparing you for the final stages of this journey, where everything that has been forming beneath the surface begins to align visibly. Stay attentive. Stay faithful. What comes next will require the steadiness you are developing now. My beloved child, this is the moment where preparation meets decision. Everything God has been forming in you now asks to be expressed through intentional action. Not rushed action, not pressured movement, but deliberate steps that reflect trust. You are no longer standing at the edge wondering if you are ready. God says readiness has already been established. Now comes cooperation. You may feel a subtle increase in responsibility, not as a burden, but as awareness. You are realizing that your choices carry influence beyond yourself. Words spoken casually now hold weight. Reactions echo longer. This is not meant to intimidate you. It is meant to affirm that God is entrusting you with more. Influence follows maturity, and maturity hath been growing quietly within you. There is also a heightened sense of discernment around opportunities. Some doors will look good but feel heavy. Others may look simple but carry peace. God is training you to choose by alignment, not appearance. What is meant for you will not require you to betray your values or rush your spirit. Peace remains the confirming witness. You are also learning to move without needing constant affirmation. Approval once fueled your momentum, but now conviction does. This shift protects you from distraction and disappointment. When your confidence is rooted in God's direction, opinions lose their power to derail you. The miracles open doors, but faithfulness keeps them open. God is watching how you steward momentum. Small acts of obedience repeated daily build foundations that last. Do not underestimate what steady faith can produce over time. You may notice that some people respond differently to you now. Respect may increase. Distance may appear. Curiosity may rise. These reactions are not your responsibility to manage. Stay grounded. Stay authentic. Let God handle perception while you focus on obedience. There is also a renewed call to stay connected. When you engage with this message, when you like it, share it, and leave a comment declaring agreement, you are not just interacting. You are reinforcing alignment. These moments of engagement become declarations that you are present and receptive. And if this space continues to nourish your spirit, make sure you are subscribed so you remain connected to what God is unfolding here. For those who feel led to go deeper, membership offers a closer walk and a shared commitment to this journey. God is also reminding you to protect your inner life. As visibility increases, privacy becomes more valuable. Not everything needs to be shared. Some things are meant to be guarded until God says otherwise. Wisdom knows when to speak and when to remain silent. You may feel an urgency to get everything right. Release that pressure. God is not asking for perfection. He is asking for responsiveness. When you miss a step, adjust and keep moving. Grace covers growth. There will be moments when fear tries to disguise itself as caution. Learn the difference. Caution seeks wisdom. Fear seeks avoidance. Ask God for clarity when you feel hesitation. He will guide you without confusion. Rest remains essential. Momentum does not mean exhaustion. God restores you so that your actions flow from fullness, not depletion. Honor the rhythms He sets for you. They are part of your protection. As this phase unfolds, expect clarity to increase. Pieces will begin to connect. Conversations will confirm direction. Opportunities will align with preparation. You will recognize the fruit of patience. Hold on to this moment. What follows will bring insight that reframes everything you have experienced so far. Keep watching, because the next unfolding carries a revelation that ties the entire journey together in a way you did not expect. My precious one, now you are standing in a place of recognition, even if no announcement has been made yet. Heaven recognizes you. The spiritual realm recognizes you, and soon, your natural world will begin to reflect what has already been acknowledged in the unseen. This is the stage where alignment becomes visible fruit, and God wants you to understand what that truly means so you do not misinterpret what unfolds. You are entering a season where things begin to respond to you differently. Not because you are striving harder, but because authority has settled. Authority is quiet. It does not beg you, rush you, or force. It stands, and things adjust. You may notice doors opening with less resistance, conversations shifting tone, and opportunities presenting themselves without you chasing them. This is not coincidence. This is confirmation. God says the version of you that doubted your worth could not have carried what is coming. That is why healing came first. Confidence is not about ego. It is about agreement with truth. You are learning to agree with what God says about you, even when emotions fluctuate. That agreement is powerful. There is also a deeper separation taking place between urgency and obedience. Before, urgency often pushed you into action out of fear of missing out. Now, obedience guides your steps with peace. You are learning that what is meant for you will wait for you to arrive aligned. You no longer need to run ahead of grace. This season also refines how you handle success. God is teaching you humility without shrinking and confidence without pride. You are learning to receive without guilt and to shine without apology. This balance is rare, and heaven values it deeply. Many can receive blessings, but few can steward them with integrity. God trusts you with both. You may feel moments of quiet reflection where you realize how much has changed internally. Old fears no longer dominate your thoughts. Old narratives no longer dictate your decisions. You are not reacting from wounds, you are responding from wisdom. This internal shift is the greatest evidence that God hath been at work all along. There is also strengthening of your spiritual spine. You are becoming less influenced by pressure and more guided by conviction. When faced with choices, you are beginning to ask different questions. Not will this make me accepted, but is this aligned with who I am becoming? That question alone will protect your future. God is also teaching you discernment in celebration. Not everyone is meant to have access to your testimony in real time. Some victories are meant to be processed privately before they are shared publicly. This protects your joy and keeps your spirit grounded. Wisdom knows when to speak and when to treasure moments quietly. You may sense a call to simplify, to release excess distraction and noise. God often simplifies before He multiplies. He clears space so that what matters receives full attention. Do not resist this pruning. It is not loss, it is focus. There may also be moments when you feel an unusual calm, even as things around you shift. That calm is not indifference, it is trust. Trust rooted in experience. You have seen God carry you before, and now your faith is no longer theoretical. It is personal. God wants you to know that the waiting you endure has given you depth. Depth attracts stability. Shallow seasons bring quick excitement but fade easily. Depth sustains. What is coming will not be fleeting. It will have roots. As you move forward, remain attentive but not anxious. Expectant but not pressured. Confident but not careless. These balances are being formed within you for a reason. They will serve you well. The journey is not ending. It is maturing. What began as a cry for help has become a walk of partnership. You are no longer asking God to carry you through everything. You are walking with Him, step by step, in trust. Hold steady. The final unfolding carries completion, sealing, and release in a way that brings full circle what began with a prayer and ends with fulfillment. Stay present. The culmination is near. My beloved child, this is the moment where heaven seals what it has spoken. What began as a whisper of hope has now become a settled promise. God is not leaving this unfinished. He is a finisher, and what he completes carries his signature, peace, clarity, and permanence. You are not standing at the edge anymore. You have crossed into fulfillment. There is a deep exhale happening in your spirit right now, a release you did not even realize you were holding on to. This is because alignment has reached completion. The struggle to understand, the fight to believe, the effort to hold on through uncertainty, it is giving way to assurance. God says, you can rest now. I have you. Archangel Michael's cry has shifted. What was once urgency is now declaration. The battle around this blessing has been resolved. What needed defending had been defended. What needed protection has been protected. You were never exposed the way you feared. Heaven was standing watch the entire time. You are stepping into a season where faith turns into testimony. Not overnight perfection, but undeniable progress. People may not know the details of your journey, but they will sense the difference. There is a steadiness in you now, a quiet authority, a calm strength that does not need to announce itself. This is the fruit of endurance. God wants you to understand that this blessing is not fragile. You do not need to walk on eggshells or fear losing it. What he gives is sustained by grace, not anxiety. Continue to walk humbly, attentively, and obediently, and what he has released will grow, not fade. There will still be challenges, but they will no longer define you. They will refine you. You are no longer fighting to survive. You are learning to steward. Steward peace. Steward clarity. Steward favor. Steward responsibility. These are signs of promotion, not pressure. You may notice that your prayers sound different now. Less pleading, more partnership. Less desperation, more dialogue. This is relationship maturing. God delights in walking with you, not just rescuing you. You have learned to trust his heart, even when you did not understand his hand. As you move forward, remember this. Obedience brought you here, and obedience will keep you here. Stay sensitive. Stay grateful. Stay teachable. These postures protect what pride and distraction try to steal. You are not returning to who you were. That season has closed. You are moving forward as someone who has been refined, restored, and released. You not minimize what God has done. Honor it by walking in confidence and humility together. Before this message concludes, seal this moment intentionally. Type "IT is finished" in faith in the comments if you receive this word with your whole heart. Blessing code 3047 is now released and sealed over your life. And now hear this final call, because it flows directly from everything heaven has done in you. This message did not reach you by chance. God allowed you to receive because he also trusts you to help carry it forward. This is not about supporting a voice. This is about advancing God's word into places where hearts are still waiting for hope. I speak this as a first-person invitation. I am asking you to move with me in obedience right now. Just as God prepared a blessing specifically for you, he is using this assignment to prepare miracles for others. When you give, you are sowing light. When you support, you are opening rivers. When you act, heaven responds. Scripture declares that seed released in faith never returns empty. Your super thanks, your membership, your PayPal seed through the link in the description is not a donation. It is a prophetic response. It is you saying yes to God's movement in this hour. I bless every giver now. May opened heavens follow your obedience. May provision recognize your faith. May acceleration meet you where delay once stood. Do not hesitate. Do not reason it away. Obey the prompting. Release the seed. Seal the word. Walk forward.